Yeah, I did you get the today's newspaper? आज का newspaper online. Anyone has a hard copy? Okay. How many of you have watched Prime Minister Modi's speech on Independence Day? Only read. Uh, Please try to go through speeches of dignitaries, especially on special occasions like Independence Day, Republic Day, because generally speeches, apart from obviously politics, they'll also focus a lot on the policy making, on what next we can expect as far as the government policies are concerned. One of the big bang reforms which the government has proposed is with respect to rationalization of GST rates. That is going to be one of the biggest reform, which, as Prime Minister Modi highlights, it is going to be a Diwali gift for all the people in India. GST reforms. Let's see how it will be. But if you see today's newspaper, on the editorial page, you have an article about required reforms, right? Required reforms. Everyone has got it? Okay. Just quickly go through that particular article and try to find out the keywords from that article. Some keywords. Any keywords you're able to identify? Bharat? Huh. Then any other keyword? Huh? Slab rates is there. Okay, good. Any other keyword? Okay. Is inverted duty anywhere mentioned in that article? Inverted duty. Okay, I don't think it is there. Hmm, fine. Huh? There is one particular keyword which is what is input tax credit. Yeah, input tax credit, I would say it's one of the most important thing as far as the GST is concerned. There is another word, but I don't know. It is not there in the Hindu newspaper. It is there in business line. The keyword is inverted duty structure. So please write down in the list of important terms which you have been writing from day one. So with respect to GST, right? One is input tax credit. One is input tax credit. And the second one is inverted duty structure. We'll be covering this in the current affairs class. Don't worry about it. Fine. Come to page number 10. Page number 10. Page number 10, it is on text and context. Okay. Did you get the text and context? Okay. Text and context, you have how should toll collection practices be reformed. Okay. Just pay attention. generally in India, if you look at the standard practice, what we have, for example, NHAI, National Highway Authority of India, it will build a national highway, or a private sector will also build a national highway under what is called as public private partnership, PPP. They will build a national highway. After the national highway is built, obviously how much ever money is spent na, to recover the money which is spent either by NHAI or by private sector, whoever has built that particular national highway, they will be required to collect the toll. So you must have seen these days, every 15 to 20 kilometer, if you're traveling on national highway, you'll come across a toll. And one of the biggest criticism of the people has been that the toll which they are required to pay is considered to be very high. Now, for example, if you want to travel from here to Jaipur, right, the toll in some cases might be half of the fuel cost only. That is as high as the toll that one is required to pay. Now, this particular article is basically a report of a parliamentary committee, which is called as Public Accounts Committee. So you can see the first word which is mentioned, Public Accounts Committee. So this article highlights that this parliamentary committee has raised some concerns with respect to collection of tolls in India. So let's see what is that problem. But before that, where do you think this line fits into your syllabus? Polity का तो नहीं है, because it's related to infrastructure, na? Where it is related to your theme of infrastructure. In scheme of infrastructure, you have a line roads. So if you are writing an answer in the mains on the roads, there you could use this as one of the fodder points, basically to add value to your answer. What can be that? Please tell me, if you are collecting toll, na, on what basis should you determine the toll? If you are asking the private sector or NHAI to collect the toll, what factor should be taken into consideration ki how much toll we should collect? What factor? Obviously the type of motor vehicle, then whether it's a two-wheeler, four-wheeler and so on. Then I think the most important thing what he says rightly is, the most important thing is we should take into account the cost of the project. What did I write here? Recover money. So if they have invested, let's say 100 crore and they are spending 25 crore for maintenance, how much money they should be allowed to recover? 125 crores. After they have recovered 125 crores, toll should no longer be collected. ये तो free हो जाना चाहिए सबके लिए, है ना? Because they have recovered the money, you have already maintained the road also, so toll should be done away with. The biggest problem which the parliamentary committee has highlighted is the tolls in India, unfortunately, they are becoming what is called as perpetual toll. When I say perpetual toll, instead of, let's say, the toll being collected for 10 years, 15 years, the toll is being collected for indefinite time period. It means the private sector or NHAI is recovering money more than what they have invested. इससे burden किसके ऊपर हो जाएगा? लोगों के ऊपर burden हो जाएगा ना? Right? What will happen to cost of transportation in India? Cost of transportation will increase. You must understand, it is not just people who are using this national highway. Even commercial enterprises are also using this national highway. So what will happen to cost of raw material or cost of finished goods? That will increase, na? Ultimately, to have an adverse effect on our manufacturing sector or our exports also. Everything will get adversely affected. So that is the biggest problem. So this article is highlighting the same thing here. समझ में आया everyone? So where can you use this? Let's say there is an article, sorry, there's a question in your mains. Discuss various challenges with respect to road network in India. There you could use one fodder point that according to Public Accounts Committee, the tolls in India have become perpetual tolls. समझ में आया everyone? चलो good. So even though you can see the article is so lengthy, na, you just have to know gist of that article. That gist you should know in just 2 to 3 statements, which you think should be easily reproducible in the mains answers. You don't have to know the entire story. Like here they are mentioned under which act is a toll fixed, on what basis is a toll fixed, all of that it is mentioned. What will happen is people will make notes on all of this. Ultimately will you have so much of time to write it? Time तो बिल्कुल नहीं रहेगा ना आपके पास. Okay, let's move to the business page. Do you find anything important? On the business page? 23% of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana accounts are inoperative. So it is being said 1 in every 5 Jan Dhan accounts are inoperative. Where can you use this point? Where can you use this point? Huh? No, but in which question? In mains. Obviously, ये तो prelims के लिए नहीं है. It's not for prelims. Where can you use this? Huh? If you are trying to criticize the government policy, good. If you have to criticize government policy, or let's say we have, it's been more than 10 years that we have launched Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. It was launched in the year 2014. Now we are in 2025. So it's more than 10 years of Jan Dhan Yojana. So obviously you can get a question in mains on critical analysis of Jan Dhan Yojana. So you should know some positives of Jan Dhan Yojana and some flaws or the problems. One of the problem is 23% of Jan Dhan accounts are inoperative. You know any strength of Jan Dhan account? Anyone knows the strength of Jan Dhan account? One is financial inclusion. Around? Someone is saying 50% के आसपास कुछ? क्या? कितने accounts हैं? Okay. It is being said that almost half of the Jan Dhan accounts are actually in the name of women, which is one of the achievement, I would say, with respect to women empowerment. So that will be covering in the mains about what are the benefits and challenges with respect to Jan Dhan Yojana. यहाँ तक clear है everyone? चलो, fine. That's it. There's nothing else important. There's an article about SEBI, but it is still in proposal stage. You do not worry about it. Two new faces in the class today? Attending class for the first time? Did you go to the online classes? What about you? Okay. Okay, where did you stop in the last class? We are done with that? We are done with development area. Okay. Next, let's go back to your list of topics. At the start of the syllabus topic, at the start, we have covered I've shown you the list of topics, right? So there you can see we have covered almost all. Now what is still left is number one, there is economic capital framework, and the second one is deposit insurance. So we'll start off with the economic capital framework. So make a heading, economic capital framework. RBI's economic capital framework. And please mark that as important. RBI's economic capital framework. Okay. Bharat, what are the assets of RBI? One. No, start with both. Yeah, I just want one asset. One is gold. Huh. Next. Government. Ashu. Hmm. Huh? Huh? What did you say? FCA. Foreign currency assets. चलो ठीक है. स्वर्णिम वो तो ऑलरेडी आ गया. वो भी हो गया. और क्या है? हाँ. अब वो तो छुट्टी होते हैं तो इग्नोर करते हैं. Coins is this. हाँ शिवा. Shiva has put his head down. Yeah, Shiva, tell me. हाँ भरत, आप ही के पास आ गया घूम घूम फिर के. हाँ सुम्य. Good. Loans to whom? Loans to government. Samya, what do we call that loans as? Ways and means advances. Vaishali? Loans to? Yeah, good. Is this part clear? है ना? So these are the assets of the RBI. I have not distinguished between the issue department and the banking department. I have combined the both. These are the assets. From these assets, RBI makes profit. How does RBI make profit? Varun, give me one. Appreciation of what, Varun? Appreciation of gold. Good. Anil? Sorry? Good. Interest on foreign currency assets as well as the government securities. I can also write interest on the loans given to the government as well as banks. All of these are the source of the profit. Once RBI makes profit, when we say senorage is only the profit of the issue department. यहाँ पे we are not talking of just the issue department. We are talking about the profits of issue department also and the banking department also. So senorage is always for which department? Issue department. ठीक है? Everyone. So once RBI earns profit, from its profit, RBI will meet its own expenses. What are the expenses of RBI? Swarnim? क्या हो सकता है expenses? I think one is for printing notes. I think this is the biggest expenditure, right? Soumya, what else? Purchase of assets. ठीक है. Then something very substantial. Huh? RBI will not be involved in creation of infrastructure, na? That is the role of the government. हाँ, that's what I'm asking. You, आप खुद आंसर दे रहे हो, मुझे क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो. RBI is paying salary to its officials. That is one of the biggest expenses, no? So I would say the expenses of RBI is, one is printing cost of the notes. Second one is paying salaries to its officials. And third is, I would say, some miscellaneous expenses. Miscellaneous expenses like paying rent on its offices, or let's say office expenses. That becomes the miscellaneous expenses. Once RBI spends money to meet its own expenses, what are we left with is net profit. समझ में आया? Okay. Plus, please understand that net profit, na, I'm not calling that as seigniorage. The reason is we're not talking about the issue department. We are talking about the issue department as well as the banking department. Once the RBI is left with the net profit, there are two things which will happen. Number one, RBI transfers certain profits to its reserves. Let me call this reserves as a kind of buffer. It will transfer its money to its reserves, which is buffer. And then the remaining money is transferred as dividend to the government. Okay? So, if I could tell you the steps involved, you could see first step, from the assets it's earned profit. After earning profit, it will meet its expenses. It is left with the net profits. After that, it will transfer some money to its reserves. And finally, it is transferring as a dividend. Did you all get the point here? Okay. When you see here, the entire flow chart, in the year 2018-19, the total assets of the RBI was somewhere around 36 lakh crore. Here, once again, I'm not talking about the issue department, I'm talking about both the two department. That is the asset. Every year, after RBI meets its own expenses, it will transfer the money to its reserves, which is the buffer. Okay, think of it. You can add on later. Let's say first year, it transfers 100 crores. First year. Second year, it transfers, let's say, 200 crore. Third year, it transfers 700 crore to its reserves. At the end of 3 years, what will be the total money in the reserves? Total kitna hoga paisa? Not 700, na? Total money will be how much? 1000. Which I am trying to tell you is reserves is not built in 1 year. Reserves is built over a period of time. It is like you are saving money in your piggy bank. If you are saving money in piggy bank, every month you'll put money into the piggy bank. So over a period of time, the piggy bank will get filled up. Hai na? So that way, if you see, in the year 2018-19, the total reserves with the RBI was around 10 lakh crore. I hope you understood. Okay, once again, come back here. Assets of the RBI, they are different from what? Reserves. They are two different things. If I could show you in a Venn diagram, it would be something like this. This circle will represent asset. This circle will represent reserves. Are there circles intersecting with one another? Which means they are two different things. So ऐसा देखा जाए तो how much money did the RBI actually have? 36 plus 10. How much money did the RBI have? 46 lakh crore. Is that part clear? Okay. Now the question which arises is, why is RBI keeping this money buffer of 10 lakh crore? Why does it need this money? No, it's not about balance of payment. नहीं उसलिए नहीं है. हाँ. One, like Bharat says, because RBI has to act as a lender of last resort. Remember we covered in the last class? If any bank is in need of money, to such banks RBI has to lend money. कहाँ से देगा RBI? From its buffer, from its reserves. That is one thing. Second, any other important thing? Huh? To issue, वो तो आसान है ना. Government will issue a paper. Using that paper, RBI can. It's not about for issuing government security. हाँ, तो उसके लिए क्यों चाहिए? I get it, what you're trying to say, but logically tell me, why does it need it? वैशाली. asset depreciate हो जाए तो हाँ go on. buffer use करके what? Okay, so what she's trying to say, good. So what she's trying to say, all of you just quickly have a recap of minimum reserve system. Minimum reserve system is a system under which issue department prints the notes. First criteria is issue department should have minimum reserves of 200 crores. Second criteria, total liabilities should be same as the total assets. If I am the issue department, if today I need to print 100 crores, my liabilities will increase by 100 crores. It means I have to buy assets worth 100 crores. No? What assets should I purchase? I need to purchase assets like gold, government security, or for that matter, forget government security, I need to purchase foreign currency asset. From where will I get that money to purchase asset? From this buffer reserve. So why is RBI maintaining buffer? For two reasons. So that RBI can act as a lender of last resort. And do not write, I'll dictate this point, do not worry. Okay, so that RBI can act as a lender of last resort, and second, RBI can use this buffer to purchase assets and then print money. That is why RBI has this buffer. What actually happened in 2018-19, government was desperately in need of money. It was seeing what are the different ways I can actually get money. And when government got to know that RBI has 10 lakh crore, government said to RBI, you have too much money with you. You have too much money with you. Please transfer me at least 1/3 of that money. 1/3 of 10 lakh crore, if you calculate, it comes out to be 3.33 lakh crore. Let's say I am finance minister and you are RBI governor. As a finance minister, I am telling you, मुझे 1/3 आपका जो पैसा है वो मुझे दे देना. As a RBI governor, what would be your counter argument? Anyone, logically? हाँ भरत. No, but that can be done only under exceptional circumstances, ना? Okay, I get it. और हाँ ठीक है. Then there's something very logical. One obviously, as a RBI governor, one logical argument that you can say is, this is my money. This is my money which I have saved. This money I need it to act as lender of last resort. This money I need it in order to purchase assets in future to print money. If you take away my money, my role as a central bank will become redundant. What's the use of central bank if central bank itself does not has money? समझ रहे हो ना? Like some bank is asking central bank कि मुझे पैसा चाहिए because I'm having a bank run. Central bank is saying to that bank, मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है. मेरा पैसा किससे लिया है? Government has taken away my money. This can happen, right? So obviously, the RBI governor then, Mr. Urjit Patel, was not in a mood to give this money. He said, I will not give this money. That is one logic. Second logic, think if you are RBI governor, look at the series of steps. Every year you are earning profit. After earning profit, what are you doing? You're transferring that money to your buffer. After transferring that money to buffer, the remaining money as it is you're transferring to the government. So RBI governor said, look, every year I'm already transferring money to you. If I'm not transferring money to you, then you can ask for this money. But every year as it is, I'm giving you some amount of my profit. In spite of taking that share of my profit, you are still wanting a share of my own reserves, my own buffer. This was another counter argument put forth by RBI governor. Two arguments. I hope you understood both the arguments. Argument number one is RBI needs money to act as lender of last resort and to print notes. Second argument, RBI is already transferring some money to the government every year. What was government saying? Okay. Let's say in the school days, you got exceptionally good marks. Let's say you got around 90% in class 10th. You are extremely happy. You go to your parents, show them the report card saying that, look, I've got 90% in the 10th class. What will your parents say? First thing, imagine. क्या बोलते हैं normally parents? हाँ हाँ, Vaishali has got that experience. हाँ Vaishali? जो चाहिए 90% के लिए. हाँ, anyone? Anil? Okay. Normally, if you tell your parents कि you got this so and so percentage, your parents will say, तो क्या हुआ? तो क्या हुआ? You see the neighbor's kid? The neighbor's, this is the most favorite dialogue ना उनका. They'll say, look at the neighbor's kid. The neighbor's kid has got 95%. 90% में क्यों why are you being so happy? Right? That is what they'll say. Same way, यहाँ पे government, you know what government said? We understand that you need money. We understand you need money, but look at other central banks. Look at the world's biggest bank. कौन सा है world's biggest bank? US Fed Bank. Government said, look at US Fed Bank. The amount of reserve which US Fed Bank is keeping, na, that is much lower than what you are keeping. I hope you understood the logic. The government said, US Fed Bank, which is one of the world's biggest central bank, is having much less reserves than what you are having. So you don't need 10 lakh crore. Give me 1/3 of that. Look at the amount of desperation the government had that time. Did you get the point? Yeah. That was the, I mean, like, we don't know. All of this happened in the media. Okay, but you must understand the kind of acrimony which went behind the curtains, behind the scenes. How government and the RBI had a tussle over this. Finally, when RBI governor was not agreeing to all of this, government threatened. Normally, does not happen. Government threatened RBI, if you don't transfer this money, I will invoke Section 7 of RBI Act 1934. What is Section 7? Government can issue directions to RBI in matters of public interest. Look, government getting money from RBI became a public interest here. So, government said, if you don't transfer me money, I will invoke Section 7. Urjit Patel was somehow trying to manage these things. He felt, I think it's too much of pressure. And finally, Urjit Patel, one fine day, he gave up his resignation. One of the biggest reasons for his resignation was this. I hope you understood. So when after Urjit Patel resigned, when government and RBI came together and they tried to find out why is there a fight in the first place? Why is there a fight? That time, the core problem, the core problem was there was no objective criteria. No objective criteria on transfer of net profits to reserves and the government. Okay. Think here, if I am the RBI governor, I am earning profit, and you are the finance minister now. I, as a RBI governor, would want that majority of this profit should come into my reserves. You, as a finance minister, what would you want? That majority of the profit should come to you. So the tussle was that there was no objective criteria कि कितना पैसा should go to the RBI and how much money should go to the government. That is first problem. The second problem was there was no objective criteria on adequacy of reserves. When I'm saying adequacy of reserves means how much buffer should RBI maintain with itself. The problem was not only this, na? RBI was saying that I need 10 lakh crore so that I can act as a lender of last resort and print money. But what was government saying? Government was saying 10 lakh crore is too much. So there was no objective criteria on how much money should be there with the RBI. So to resolve this conflict, the RBI appointed a committee. That committee was headed by a person called as Bimal Jalan. Bimal Jalan Committee. भरत कहीं सुना है बिमल जलान? Accounting year of RBI got changed based upon the recommendations of this committee. I hope it's clear. Understood the background to the entire story? Okay, please write. Did you incorporate this flow chart at least? Flow chart बना लो. Just write the flow chart. The other things I'll dictate. Do not worry. Okay, the test is ready for the chapter of RBI. I have submitted the test today itself. The test has 100 questions. It has the questions from RBI, sectors of economy, and NCERT textbook, class 11th ka Indian economic development. So I think the test is being planned for next Monday. You can just talk to the concerned team as well. They'll let you know. It is planned for the coming Monday. Okay, so prepared accordingly. Aditya is not there today. You Hemant, you were there in current affairs class last time. Current affairs class, you're there. सौम्या क्या हुआ? Okay, Vaishali, you're also not there. Current affairs class, you're there. अच्छा. Okay. Please write under this background in 2018-19, in 2018-19, comma, the total assets with the RBI, the total assets with the RBI was 36 lakh crores, was 36 lakh crores, full stop. The RBI had built, the RBI had built reserves of around, the RBI had built reserves of around rupees 10 lakh crores from these assets, from these assets, from these assets, full stop. Okay. The government, the government wanted RBI to transfer at least one third of its reserves. The government wanted RBI to transfer at least one third of its reserves since it felt that RBI was over capitalized. Since it felt that RBI was over capitalized. Full stop. Next para. However, RBI was against the transfer of reserves. However, RBI was against the transfer of reserves, wherein it argued that, wherein it argued that it needed sufficient reserves, it needed sufficient reserves for the following, wherein it needed sufficient reserves for the following. Number one, to act as lender of last resort, to act as lender of last resort. Second, to purchase assets, to purchase assets for printing notes, to purchase assets for printing notes. Next para. This tussle led to the resignation of the then RBI governor. This tussle led to the resignation of the then RBI governor Urjit Patel. Urjit Patel. Full stop. The government even threatened RBI that it would invoke Section 7 of the RBI Act 1934. Section 7 of RBI Act 1934. Full stop. Under Section 7, comma, government can issue directions to the RBI in matters of public interest. Last para. Hence, in order to resolve this conflict, comma, RBI appointed Bhimal Jalan Committee. Bhimal Jalan Committee. JALAN. Bhimal Jalan Committee. Full stop. This committee has laid down economic capital framework. This committee has laid down economic capital framework, which full stop. This framework specifies objective criteria. On number 1, transfer of net profits. To government. Second, quantity of reserves in the bracket buffer to be maintained. Quantity of reserves in the bracket buffer to be maintained by the RBI. Okay? Right after this, note the recommendations of Bhimal Jalan Committee. The recommendations of Bhimal Jalan Committee are technical in nature. And hence not important for prelims. So don't worry about it. Okay? Right? Further, in the note only. Further, RBI is set to adopt new economic capital framework. Further, RBI is set to adopt new economic capital framework in 2025-26. Is set to adopt new capital framework in 2025-2026, which means in this year RBI का new capital framework आने वाला है. So obviously, I don't think UPSC is going to ask you a question on the old capital framework. If at all question is going to be asked, it might be asked on the new one. So obviously, when as and when this capital framework is adopted by the RBI, we'll cover that in the current affairs class. So that is it with respect to economic capital framework. Right on the next topic, deposit insurance. Deposit insurance, and please mark that as important. No, it did not go to Supreme Court. Supreme Court will not suo moto interfere in most of the cases. Okay. Deposit insurance. Okay. Just pay attention now. Let's say you have kept your money in a bank, and let's say the bank collapses. When I say bank collapses, means let's say the bank has a situation of bank run, and finally the bank closes its business. Right now, the maximum amount of money that you can get if the bank collapses, that is the deposit that you can get, is just 5 lakh. You will not get back more than rupees 5 lakh. Let's say I have deposited 10 lakh in a bank. Let's say recently there's a bank which failed. Its name was Lakshmi Vilas Bank. Let's say I had deposited 10 lakh. I will not get back my entire 10 lakh. I will get back only 5 lakh. Let's say Hemant has kept 50 lakh. How much will he get? Just 5 lakh. Let's say Ashu has kept 1 crore. How much he'll get? He'll get only 5 lakh. But let's say Varun has kept 50,000. How much will he get? 5 lakh नहीं मिलेगा उनको. If you have kept 50,000, you'll get how much? 50,000 only. When I say 5 lakh is the maximum amount. If I tell you this is what is deposit insurance, that is not going to help you in the exam, because obviously everyone will know it and it is too simple a concept to understand. There are a lot of nitty-gritties, technicalities which are involved with respect to deposit insurance. Like what kind of deposits are covered, who all will get that money of 5 lakh, or generally in case of insurance, like you talk about health insurance, life insurance. Whenever we talk about insurance, there is something called as premium. Have you heard of premium? So here you should know who pays the premium on your deposit. Is it paid by you, or is it paid by the bank, or is it paid by the RBI? These are certain nitty-gritties which UPSC will focus upon. That is what I'm going to cover in the next 15 to 20 minutes. So please pay attention about deposit insurance. Okay. Let's say you have depositors. Depositors are depositing money with a bank. Okay. In this case, please understand that deposit insurance is available for all except number 1, interbank deposits, and deposits of center, state, or foreign governments. Everyone will get back their 5 lakhs. Except who? Except interbank deposits. It might so happen that State Bank of India may have deposited money in Lakshmi Vilas Bank. Lakshmi Vilas Bank collapses. Each one of us will get back the money, but who will not get back? SBI. Similarly, center, state, or even the foreign governments, they will not get back the money. Deposits. It is available for all types of deposits. Vaishali, can you tell me what are the different types of deposits you can keep with the bank? What are the different types of deposits that you can keep with the bank? एक तो FD हो गया, good. Then there's something called as recurring deposit. Then, time deposit is fixed deposit and recurring deposit only. Yeah, good, Hemant. We have a savings account deposit. Soumya? Current account deposit. You must be knowing at least this thing कि चलो ठीक है, you must not have heard about this, but at least ये तो experience किया होगा. You insert your debit card into an ATM machine. It asks you what kind of account you are having, savings account or current account. ये तो देखा होगा आपने. That will cover what is savings account, what is current account, how is current account different from savings account. That will cover later. Just know right now we can have 4 types of accounts, 4 type of deposit with the bank: savings account, current account, fixed deposit, and recurring deposit. 4 type. So it doesn't really matter which deposits you have kept. It will have deposit insurance for all. So it will include savings, current account, fixed deposit, as well as a recurring deposit. Okay. If you see this one, if you deposit money in all entities, you'll get a money back. कितना आएगा? 5 lakh. Except one entity. What do you think that one entity is? No. It will cover deposits of all. सारे deposits cover हो जाते हैं. I'm asking from the perspective of entity. Banking institutions, financial institutions. Huh? Good. So, it is available on all except what is NBFC. लक्ष्मी चिट फंड सुना है? कौन सा था लक्ष्मी चिट फंड्स? याद है हेरा फेरी मूवी? हेरा फेरी मूवी याद है? So Rajkumar Yadav goes and give that money to Akshay Kumar. He says पैसा डबल करने का scheme. Yeah. So what is that chit fund? That was Lakshmi Chit Fund. What is Lakshmi Chit Fund? Basically, it was an NBFC. So if you keep your money with NBFC, you'll not get back your money. Understand? If the NBFC collapses, you'll not get back. You'll get back your money only if you keep your money in a particular bank, not NBFC. That is why it is not advisable to keep money with a NBFC. It is very risky. Clear with that? Okay. Apart from that, let's say there is a person X. This person X, for example, he takes a health insurance for which he pays a premium of rupees 10,000 per year. This premium he may pay to a health insurance company called as Aditya Birla. It's a health insurance company. Aditya Birla, in return for this premium that it is accepting, Aditya Birla company will provide this person with a insurance cover of rupees 5 lakh. What is the meaning of insurance cover of 5 lakh? Let's say in a unlikely event, if this person gets hospitalized, you know, in India, it is being said that the hospital expenses have skyrocketed. It's very high. And if someone in a family gets hospitalized, na, there have been multiple instances in India where a family which is above poverty line, because someone in their family has fallen ill, from above poverty line they have become below poverty line because of the cost involved. So what people generally do is they transfer the risk of getting hospitalized to a health insurance company. So let's say the hospital bill is around rupees 8 lakh. The person need not pay entire 8 lakh. The person in this case will pay only 3 lakh. The health insurance company will pay the remaining 5 lakh. Clear with that? So this is how insurance business works. Come back here. I am a depositor. I have deposited money in a particular bank. I am getting a insurance of how much? 5 lakh. Here I might take a health insurance. यहाँ पे क्या insurance है? It's not a health insurance, ना? What it is? It's a deposit insurance. So to whom are we paying that premium? किसको पे कर रहे हैं? Who is paying that? That is very important. Hemant, who do you think is paying this premium amount for deposits? Indirectly the customer? Okay. Swarnim, what do you think? Okay. Understand, according to RBI's guideline, the cost should not be incurred by the depositor. This is the RBI's guideline. The cost for paying premium should be borne entirely by the banks. So bank here on your behalf, that is depositor's behalf, bank will pay a premium, and RBI has said you don't have to transfer this burden to the depositor. So bank will have to incur its expenses from its own pocket. For health insurance, we have an insurance company like Aditya Birla. For deposit insurance, we have a entity called as Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation, which is in short written as DICGC. This DICGC, it is actually owned by RBI. समझ में आया सबको? Okay. Now with respect to premium, earlier the premium was maximum 0.15% of deposits, and the problem here was this premium was same for all the banks. Let's look at the first one. 0.15% of deposits. If you deposit 100 rupees with a bank, on that 100 rupees, how much premium will the bank pay to DICGC? 15 paisa. That's it. 15 paisa, I think it's quite manageable. It's not that it is keeping 15 rupees. 15 paisa for every 100 rupees. Second, this premium maximum was same for all the banks. And I say that this is the biggest problem. Why it's a problem? Come back here. Let's say you have person X, person Y, person Z. All these people, they want to take a health insurance. All of these three people, for taking health insurance, they have to pay a premium. Let's assume that for all of these three people, the insurance cover is rupees 5 lakh. Clear? Shiva, you tell me, on what basis is the premium decided? Considering that everyone has a same insurance cover of 5 lakh, what basis do you take into consideration? You understood my question? Three people, X, Y, Z, everyone want a health insurance. Each of these three people want a insurance cover of 5 lakh. My question is, how will you decide the premium for X, Y, and Z? Will it be same for everyone or will it be different? It will be different. Different on what basis? Income. Varun, I don't think so it's income. One of the most important thing that you will see is you'll look at their previous health record. One. Then I think the most important thing is the age. If someone who is in his 60s is trying to get a health insurance, person who is in 60 is more likely to get hospitalized. So what should happen to the premium for that person? High. Someone who is in the age of 30s is trying to get an insurance. There are less chances of that person getting hospitalized. So premium for such people will be less. Sometimes they'll ask you a question. The questions are being asked to people who want to take health insurance like, do you drink? Do you smoke? Why do they ask this kind of question? Because people who drink, people who smoke are more likely to get hospitalized. Risk is higher. So in insurance market, the premium is based upon what factor? Risk factor. Lower the risk, lower the premium. समझ में आया? Come back here. यहाँ पे क्या illogical है ना? That every bank is paying same premium. How can premium paid by Lakshmi Vilas Bank be same as premium paid by SBI? It's like saying a 60-year-old person is saying same premium as a premium paid by 25-year-old person. Between SBI and Lakshmi Vilas Bank, which bank is more risky? Lakshmi Vilas Bank is more risky. I hope you understood. So this was the problem. So what we have done, DICGC Amendment Act 2021. Now we have said that premium can vary from bank to bank. Need not be same for everyone. It will vary from bank to bank depending upon the risk factor. यहाँ तक clear है? Okay. Coming to last part, Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. When will insurance be provided? When I say when will insurance be provided, means when will depositors get back their money? उनको कब पैसे मिलेगा? They will get back their deposits of 5 lakh, one, upon liquidation. Swarnim, what is liquidation? Huh? Liquidation. No. Huh, Vishal? When we say liquidation, liquidation basically means sale of assets. है ना? So when bank has assets, bank's assets will be sold off. After we sell off the assets, depositors will get back their 5 lakh rupees. That is what is liquidation. Second, upon merger. Now the problem here is, if you see these two, liquidation and merger of banks, they are considered to be very time consuming process. It takes a lot of time, especially if there's a bank which has got collapsed. That bank has to be merged with some other bank. It takes time, let's say more than 1 year. Same way, liquidation of assets is also very time consuming. Clear with that? Why I would say this is a problem is because, have you seen that Munna Bhai MBBS movie? Everyone, you have seen that movie, right? In that movie, you must have seen that there's a scene where a patient is taken to the hospital. The patient is requiring immediate surgery. So what they say is, surgery बाद में होगा, पहले receipt नहीं, पहले form भरना है. They say first you have to fill up the form. Only when the form is filled up, we will do the operation. What is urgency यहाँ पे? Surgery urgent है या form भरना urgent है? Surgery is important. Same way, imagine like this. People have kept their hard earned money in a bank. And we are saying to the people, no, you wait. You'll not get back your 5 lakh rupees. You wait. We will sell off the bank asset. Then you'll get back your money. Or you wait. We are trying to merge this bank with another bank. Then only you get the money. What is the use of insurance if you are asking people to wait? That's completely flawed, no? Apart from that, there's another bigger problem which happened in India. There was a bank in India. It is PMC Bank. Its full form is Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank. This bank is a cooperative bank. It's not a commercial bank. It's a cooperative. What's the difference? We'll cover that later. This cooperative bank had accepted a lot of deposits, and mostly the deposits were accepted from the senior citizens, people above the age of 60. So generally, you know that when people retire, they get lump sum amount, like their provident fund, gratuity. So what they do with that lump sum amount, that money they deposit with a particular bank. On that deposit, they get regular interest, and that interest becomes a source of income for the senior citizens. But why do senior citizens prefer cooperative banks and not SBI? One of the biggest thing is they get a higher interest on their deposits with cooperatives. So if you know someone who's of elderly age, above age of 60, so mostly I would say they have kept their money in a cooperative bank because of the higher interest which they would get. If SBI is offering an interest of somewhere around 7% for senior citizens, they would offer somewhere like 11%. It is actually more than 10% in some of the cases, which for them is too much, right? So senior citizens kept their money in the bank. This bank had given this deposits in the form of loans. Unfortunately, all of these loans had turned bad loans, which means the bank was unable to recover the loans. Senior citizens came to know about this. Key loans have turned into bad loans. Senior citizens started withdrawing their deposits. याद है हमने और किया था? What is it called as? Bank run. This situation happened in PMC Bank recently. Bank run. ठीक है? When this bank was put under bank run, I would say one of the most controversial decisions taken by RBI in the recent years. That controversial decision was taken in the case of PMC Bank. Very controversial. That controversial decision was RBI decided to impose, look at this word, क्या ये? Moratorium. Anyone knows what's the meaning of moratorium? Take out your mobile phone, check करना moratorium का meaning. Moratorium. Temporary. हाँ, तो सबसे पहले I wanted to make you understand the word moratorium is not a economic word. It's not an economic word. It's a plain English word. Moratorium means halting something temporarily, putting on halt something for a temporary period of time. That is what is moratorium. What moratorium do you think RBI had imposed on PMC Bank? क्या हो सकता है? I told you it's very controversial decision. ना? Guess क्या हो सकता है? डिपॉजिट का नहीं, उसके ऊपर आरबीआई ने कुछ नहीं बोला. हाँ, RBI imposed a moratorium on withdrawal of deposits, which means RBI said temporarily, I'm repeating the word temporarily, depositors will not be able to take back all of their deposits. Temporarily, they can withdraw only up to rupees, let's say 50,000 in the next 6 months, for example. Next 6 months, you can withdraw only 50,000. It does not really matter how much money you have kept in your bank. You may have kept 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs. RBI said, we will help you to withdraw only 50,000 because we are imposing moratorium. Do you understand the word moratorium? Halt on what? Withdrawal of deposits. Because people were running to the bank to withdraw their deposit, RBI imposed moratorium. Why is it controversial? I'm not talking about normal people. I'm talking about senior citizens. You must understand these are the people who have worked their entire life. Entire life they have worked, they have saved money. That money they have kept in a bank. Obviously, they have saved money to be used during emergency purpose. What can be emergency for the senior citizens? For example, healthcare emergency. Let's say they have to get hospitalized or they have to get immediate surgery done. RBI, in a way, is telling to those people, don't get your surgery done because the bank is under moratorium. Quite unfair to senior citizens, right? Understand? Or senior citizens have other obligations like they have to get their kids married. Now RBI is saying postpone the kids of your marriage because we'll give you money later, which is completely logical. That is when this problem, moratorium, caused a large scale controversy in India. Generally, it is observed in India, we are not very proactive. We don't, what we generally tend to do is we react to the situation. We don't anticipate the situation. So when this problem happened, that is when we realized that deposit insurance should not be available only upon liquidation or merger. It should also be available in certain other situations. What is that situation? क्या लिखा है मैंने वहां पे? Moratorium. So now what we have done, we have come up with a amendment, DICGC Amendment Act of 2021. Now people will get back their money within 90 days of placing bank under moratorium. 90 days means within 3 months. So when a bank is placed under moratorium, within 3 months, people will get back their deposit insurance, not entire deposit. Deposit insurance कितना? 5 लाख. यहाँ तक clear है? Everyone? No doubts? Please take this down. We'll have to wait. If the bank is not put in place a moratorium, if the bank is going for liquidation, no other option rather than waiting. Vaishali, you're saying something? हाँ, लिख लिया आपने? अच्छा. It's up to RBI in certain cases. So it's very strange. We don't know what was the NPA of this PMC bank. According to some media reports, it's being said that this bank had an NPA of more than 70%. If you're not being able to understand, more than 70% means, like, if it has given 100 rupees loan, 70 rupees loan has turned bad loan. So even RBI was equally concerned that RBI might not get back its own money. That is when RBI temporarily put the bank under moratorium. What's your name? Huh? Dilshad. What's your name? Rishabh. Much. Everyone is done? Okay. Right after this, note, once the DICGC, note, once the DICGC makes payment, once the DICGC makes payment to the bank, once the DICGC makes payment to the bank, comma, the bank becomes liable, the bank becomes liable to repay the amount, the bank becomes liable to repay the amount to DICGC at a later date. Now, this is very surprising actually. है ना? So, let's say you have taken a health insurance from a health insurance company. You have paid a premium to the health insurance company, and if you get hospitalized, the health insurance company will pay your hospital bill. Are you required to pay that hospital bill to the health insurance company at later date? No, because you have already paid a premium to that. But this is very surprising that in case of deposit insurance, if this bank collapses and if DICGC pays money to depositor on behalf of the bank at a later date, whatever money DICGC has paid to depositors, that it will recover from the bank. So I would say the word deposit insurance is actually a misnomer यहाँ पे, because it's not actually a insurance. It is like saying DICGC is temporarily rescuing a bank. DICGC is just helping the bank to fulfill its obligation towards the depositors, which later DICGC will recover from the bank. यहाँ तक clear है सबको? Everyone is clear? Okay. So that is what is deposit insurance. Next you can write. Next initiative of the RBI. Green deposits. Green deposits. Next initiative, green deposits framework. Green deposits framework. Okay. So a bank will accept deposits. Same deposit the bank will give out in the form of loans. But here, what are we talking about? We are talking about green deposits. What do you think the green deposits are? Swarnim, what are green deposits? Shikumar? Green. For agriculture means deposits are accepted from farmers. सौम्य क्या हो सकता है? हाँ, what is that environment rated? Deposits, I'm talking about green deposits. Okay, it's a very interesting, okay, it's a very interesting take. RBI just recently has come up with the green deposit framework. They are like FD, fixed deposit. So just like how a bank would accept a fixed deposit, you have in India banks, NBFCs, and housing finance companies. We have a separate entity called as housing finance company. right now understand housing finance company is one of the category of NBFC. एक category है, which as a name suggests, housing finance. They are specialized in giving loans to the people to purchase house. Like there is one housing finance company called as India Bulls. Have you ever come across the ad of this company, India Bulls? DHFL का नाम सुना है आपने? ओके चलो ठीक है, भूल जाओ, कुछ नहीं बोला मैंने, ठीक है, फॉरगेट अबाउट इट, मैंने कुछ नहीं बोला. ये देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज हाउसिंग फाइनेंस कंपनी, ठीक है. All of these entities in India, banks, NBFCs, housing finance companies, accept green deposit. They can accept green deposit. Are they savings account or fixed deposit? Fixed deposit. The only thing is that once they accept green deposit, compulsorily that money should be given in the form of loans for green energy. When I say green energy means, for example, loans when they are given, loans can be given for renewable energy projects. What can be renewable energy? For example, solar, wind, right? Hydropower, and so on. Apart from that, what else can be green energy? Socho. Something which you think may reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. Huh? Afforestation हो सकता है. Or, you know, if we are focusing on public transportation, when I say public transportation, like construction of metro projects, metro project will obviously reduce the greenhouse gas. So I could say public transportation. Huh, you could say that. Public transportation, or you could say adaptation to climate change. Adaptation and mitigating. Adaptation and mitigation of climate change. Or you could also say adoption of energy efficiency measures. When I say energy efficiency means, let's say you have this normal tube lights. If you have LED bulbs, right, they consume less amount of electricity. So all of that loans can be given. That is what is called as green deposit. समय आया? Please take this down. Green deposit. Right, number one. Applicability. Right, first one. Applicability. Applicability. Put a hyphen and write. Banks. Applicability. Banks. NBFCs. And housing finance companies. Banks, NBFCs, and housing finance companies. Next. Nature of deposits. Nature of deposits. Fixed deposit. Third. Conditions. Third, conditions. Put hyphen and write. Green deposits must always be given for green initiatives such as renewable energy, public transportation, adaptation and mitigation of climate change, energy efficiency, etc. Next, right, denomination. Next is denomination. Put a hyphen and write. Must always be Rupee denominated must always be rupee denominated. Full stop. Cannot be denominated in foreign currency. Cannot be denominated in foreign currency. क्या मतलब है इसका? Cannot be denominated in foreign currency means no foreign investment. नहीं. What's the meaning of cannot be denominated in foreign currency? Huh? नहीं, when I said denomination means इसका मतलब क्या है? When you accept when bank accept deposits, right? They can accept deposits from residents and non-residents. When people like you and me deposit money in a bank, we deposit in which currency? In rupees. When non-residents deposit money with a bank, in what currency do they deposit? Dollar. So that dollar cannot be there for a green deposit. It has to be in rupee only. Clear? Write the next initiative of the RBI. Next initiative. They have to convert that into rupee. Next one. But when bank is accepting deposits, it cannot accept dollar from the NRIs. When it is accepting rupee, when it is accepting deposits from NRIs, that has to be in rupees only. Next, public tech platform. Public tech. Public. Next initiative, public tech, TECH, public tech platform for frictionless credit. Public tech platform for the frictionless credit. Okay, please pay attention. I'll dictate everything what I'm going to cover. Please mark that as important as well. Okay. I hope everyone must have heard about UPI, Unified Payment Interface. With respect to UPI, you should know two things. Number one, UPI is not an app. It's not a mobile app. UPI is actually application programming interface. When I say application programming interface, which means it is an interface which can be incorporated into mobile apps. Okay, everyone? Have you heard of something called as Beam app? सुना है ना आपने? Beam app is nothing but a mobile app. But what is UPI? UPI is a application programming interface. Second thing that you need to know about UPI is open platform. When I say open platform, it means UPI is developed by NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. After developing this, NPCI has given this application programming interface as free to everyone. That is why a number of apps like PhonePe, GPay, Paytm, and now even WhatsApp, all of this have integrated UPI into that. These private sector entities, they are not required to pay any money to NPCI. It is free of cost. It is being said that UPI can be considered as a digital rail on which private sector can operate. It's like saying government constructs road network. Once the government constructs road network, everyone can use the road or not? Private sector. Here, government is not constructing road. Government is constructing a digital platform. Digital platform is what? UPI. And that is made free to everyone. It is also called as digital public good. Look at the word. Digital public good means, when I say something is public good means this is available free to everyone. It's like public park, street light, what it is. It's a public good. It is available free to everyone. Same like that, UPI is a digital public good. In the recent days, ever since the government has come into power, government has focused a lot on creating such kind of digital public goods. For example, in case of banking, we have created UPI. Have you heard of this? All of you? CoWIN. It was a platform which was launched for the vaccination during the COVID-19. This CoWIN is also what? API. What kind of API it is? Open API. Similarly, have you heard of this? ONDC. Open Network for Digital Commerce. ONDC is an API for e-commerce. When I say e-commerce ke liye means you like Amazon, Flipkart. You have multiple shops, small businesses. If they want to sell their goods, can I say it's very difficult for them to develop a platform like Amazon. So government has created this ONDC platform. You can easily integrate your ONDC platform into your mobile app, and through that mobile app you can sell your goods to the customer. So similar to these things, now RBI has created a open API called as Public Tech Platform for Frictionless Credit. So let's understand what is this platform. If I ask you, if there's a bank, or for that matter NBFC, if a bank or NBFC has to sanction loans, give loans, what all information should the bank or NBFC know? One by one, starting with you, Soumya. What information should they know? Or that's it. नाम तो सब तो prerequisite है. What else? What's the most critical information? I think the most critical information is credit history, na? Who provides that credit history? Credit information companies. So bank will need information from credit information companies. Swarnim, और क्या information चाहिए bank को before sanctioning a loan? Like you go apply for a bank loan. What all things? They should know your assets. So how will they know your income? Your income, they'll get to know from your income tax returns that you have filed in the past 3 years. So for that, they need to know your ITR. ITR किस डिपार्टमेंट के पास रहता है? Income tax department. If the borrower is running his business, it's a small size company, the borrower must be paying GST. They're collecting GST. So bank will also look at the GST returns. Based upon the GST returns, they'll get to know how much is the turnover of the company. कितना goods, कितना service company बेच रहा है. This tells us the credit worthiness of the company. Apart from that, this bank may also get the information about fixed deposit of a person with another bank. The person may have kept a FD with another bank. That is an asset, na? Financial asset. Or bank may also know about his mutual fund investment. From where? From a mutual fund company. Bank should also authenticate the person. When I say authenticate the person, means the bank should know that this person is actually the real person. For that, what they'll do is they'll check his Aadhaar card, they'll check his PAN card. These days, rather than going for physical verification, the verification is done through digital. Have you seen how they do it these days? Like you go and give your Aadhaar card. So they have a biometric, you just place your thumbprint. That biometric is linked to your Aadhaar database. It gets authenticated. Similarly, there is something called as e-signature, which you can do through your Aadhaar card as well. So, authentication using Aadhaar, or let's say using PAN card. Imagine the series of information which is flowing to the bank before the bank takes a decision whether to lend money or not. This can be extremely time consuming. If you don't believe me, you apply for a loan, आपको पता चलेगा. How time consuming getting a loan is in India. It takes a lot of time. And quite understandably, it takes time because all of this process that I've explained to you does not take place digitally. Most of this take place manually. Okay. So what RBI has done, just like NPCI has developed an API, just like that, RBI has developed a open API. This open API can be integrated into mobile apps. किसका mobile app? All the banks and NBFCs. Imagine like you have Bajaj Finance का app कभी देखा है? In that Bajaj Finance app, you could have this public tech platform for frictionless credit. So if Bajaj Finance is sanctioning you loan, for example, for taking a laptop, what they'll do? All of this process is integrated here, which means it is going to provide for easier flow of information from multiple stakeholders. Easier flow of information से benefit क्या होगा? It will reduce the time which is taken for giving of loans. It is being said that this platform is going to become like UPI 2.0. Whatever revolution UPI has brought in payments, the same revolution this platform is going to bring in terms of lending loans. So I remember last time when German ambassador had come to India, na? So they had taken German ambassador on a tour, and the German ambassador was shown as to how vegetable vendors in India are accepting payment through UPI. The German ambassador was very surprised that a country like India, where there's so much of illiteracy, where people do not have a smartphone or internet, people are readily accepting UPI. There are a lot of things which India has to learn from US. I agree to that. But if US has to learn something from India, it is actually our UPI. So if you visit US, in US they don't have something like UPI to make payments across US, which we have in India actually. So you can just understand how technology has transformed everyone's life, right? So that is what this one is set to do in terms of giving of loans. समझ में आया सबको? Everyone? No. For there's nothing like low or high. It is going to be for all the things. Huh. They are not going. See here, they are not going to. There are some things that you cannot do away with, like valuation. Valuation is still going to be done manually only, but earlier it was being done manually, and papers were moved from one desk to another desk, or from say one branch to another branch. Now it will be integrated. It will provide for seamless flow of information. So right, public tech platform for frictionless credit. Right, meaning. Right, meaning. Open application programming in open application programming interface. Open application programming interface developed by RBI. Developed by RBI to enable seamless flow of information. To enable seamless flow of information for lending loans. For lending loans. Next, what it does. Next, what it does. What it does, question mark, right? It is not a lending platform. It is not a lending platform. It is not a lending platform, full stop. Rather, it is a platform which brings different stakeholders. Rather, it is a platform which brings different stakeholders and makes it easy for the banks to take lending decisions and makes it easy for the banks to take lending decisions. Next one, databases integrated. Next, under this only, databases integrated. Right, first one, credit information companies. Credit information companies. Next one, income tax data. Income tax data. Third, GST returns. GST returns. Fourth, land records. Land records. Details of financial assets. Details of financial assets such as FD, mutual funds. Next, Aadhaar. Aadhaar. Last one, PAN card. ठीक है? Okay. Okay, all of you can just have a look at this particular question, which is asked in prelims 2022. Read the question carefully. What do you think could be the answer to this question? Varun, what do you think could be the answer? Answer could be C, Labor Bureau. D लग रहा है. National Technical Manpower बिल्कुल हो सकता है. Quite logical. Okay. Okay, let's forget the answer. Let's concentrate on the question. Look at the year in which this question was asked. 2022. So one would think that this particular report was probably in news in 2021 or 2022. And not just in news, probably this report created some kind of controversy. It was in news for some wrong reason, multiple times it was there. That is why this question was asked. This report was published in 2014-15. कितने साल के बाद यूपीएससी को लगा कि इस पे क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं? After 7 years. And let me tell you, this report was nowhere in news also in 2014-15. It was not even in news also, because I have never read about this report in my life. So even for me, when this question I saw in the paper, I was like, ये कौन सा report है जो मैंने नहीं पढ़ा? Okay, that's the first thing I want to tell you. Second thing, please look at the options. And I have an intuition, looking at the options, that this question was probably framed before 2018. This question was probably framed before 2018, but UPSC did not ask it before 2018. So UPSC had some question ready with it. So UPSC thought, चलो उस time पे पूछा नहीं है, अभी पूछ लेते हैं. And my intuition is very strong because of one reason. Hint for you is the option. What do you think is wrong in the option? Why it is wrong, Anil? Now we don't have something called as CSO. Look at the first option. First option क्या लिखा है? CSO. What actually happened? CSO in the year 2019 went on to become what? NSO. Even if it is the wrong answer, even though it's a wrong option, if I am framing question in 2022, I would not write CSO, no. I would rather use what? NSO. Even though it's a wrong option. The very fact that it has used a wrong option, तो उसका मतलब क्या है? Probably the question was framed before 2019, but UPSC thought we are not asked the question before. Now let's ask this particular question. Apart from that, if you look at the nature of question, UPSC has not gone into depth about the report. Understand? What UPSC has done, it has simply asked us a one-liner question. Question भी कैसा है? Who publishes this report? That's it. Which means you should know initiatives of important bodies in India. And when I say initiatives, you should not go into depth. You should know just one liner. There are some big initiatives that we discussed, right? Deposit insurance, or for that matter, public tech platform for frictionless credit. These are the big initiatives. But there are some small initiatives of RBI that you should need to know. And as far as the small initiatives are concerned, you should know just one liner. This is an initiative of RBI. So what I have done, I have gone through the annual report of RBI. From the annual report of RBI, I have compiled list of all the initiatives, सारे initiatives. ठीक है? You might think बहुत ज़्यादा है, can't help, करना ही पड़ता है. ठीक है? These are the initiatives of RBI. Like I said, what you should know is only the right hand side. कि this is an initiative of RBI. This left hand side is just for your information. I hope it's clear. Okay. ज़्यादा है ये? Okay. Like what you should know is something like this. I'll tell you what question can be asked. I'll tell you question also. Which among the following publishes financial inclusion index in India? That's it. Financial inclusion index कौन publish करता है? RBI. That's it. If you know that much, more than sufficient. Do not get into what is this index. If you get into what is that index, na, you'll end up wasting a lot of time, which is not worth putting so much efforts. Or a question on which among the following publishes digital payments index in India? Digital payment index, RBI. I think the name itself will tell you what it is. It is basically measuring how much is the digital payments penetration in India. Right hand side, not really important, but this is just for your information. Clear? There's one very interesting initiative of RBI. Look at this. Money initiative. Mobile aided note identifier for the visually impaired. People who are visually blind, they can't differentiate 100 rupee note from a 200 rupee note. You know, these visually blind people have their own braille, their script, right? For them, it's very difficult to differentiate 100 rupee note or a 200 rupee note. RBI has developed a mobile app for these people. They can simply scan the note. Once a note is scanned, the mobile app will read out the denomination of that particular note as to whether it's a 100 rupee note or 200 rupee note. So that's what I said. हाँ, मुझे पता था ये doubt तो आएगा पक्का. So his doubt is very valid. क्या doubt था आपका? हाँ, so he's asking how will people open this app? कि ये वाला app है ना? Anyone? हाँ, anyone? How will people use this? हाँ? हाँ. Yes, that is there. Apart from that, how it will also help is, see, when I was in Bangalore, some of my students were visually blind, but they had a very unique way of opening that mobile app. Everyone had, they know key where they should open and a particular app will have. These people have some strong intuition, you must understand. Apart from that, how it will also help is, let's say they don't know which app to be used. If I'm a shopkeeper, if I am giving a 100 rupee note to visually blind and saying that it's a 200 rupee note, what they can ask is, you open this app on my mobile, read out this particular thing, only then I will accept it. उससे क्या होगा? Probably the way the people are cheated, that can be reduced. Clear? So I would say leave some space. You have a fair idea how much space you need. I would want everyone to leave some space to incorporate this. Whether you want to write the right hand side part or not, it's completely up to you. If you want, you can write, or else I just want you guys to know about all the left hand side. हाँ वरुण, you can ask me. हाँ भरत. हाँ क्या पूछ रहे थे बोलो. हाँ, you can tell me. नहीं, कुछ तो है, कुछ तो है, क्या बात हुआ बताओ। हाँ, कौन सा? राइट वाला इट्स कंप्लीटली अप टू यू वेदर यू वांट टू राइट और नॉट, बट मुझे लगता नहीं है वो चीज था। वही था। ओके। ओके। हाँ वैशाली, व्हाट यू आर थिंकिंग? हाँ हाँ, पूछो। ओके। पीटी। बेंचमार्क टेस्ट में बिल्कुल आएगा। बेंचमार्क टेस्ट में आई हैव ऑलरेडी इंक्लूडेड सम थिंग्स फ्रॉम हियर। अच्छा। मेरा लेफ्ट, आप ऐसा सोचो ना, मेरा राइट। ठीक है, क्लियर है। फाइन। इट्स 7:05, विल टेक अ ब्रेक ऑफ 5 minutes. We are almost done with chapter of RBA. There's some last part, subsidiaries of RBA. Once we come back, 5 minutes will be done, and then we'll be starting with the next chapter of monetary policy. ठीक है, थैंक यू। वो कर लिया ना हमने। करंट डेवलपमेंट्स क्या क्या है वहां पे? व्हाट आर द करंट डेवलपमेंट्स में क्या क्या लिखा है आपने? हाँ। क्यों नहीं लिखा? हाँ वैशाली, करंट। सो आई विल शो यू। Okay, once we come back, I'll show you. All the current developments इसी में incorporated है. In fact, the current developments had incorporated this अंतर्दृष्टि पोर्टल, उद्गम पोर्टल, वही था उसमें। Okay, please write down the next one. Last part of this chapter, subsidiaries of RBI. Subsidiaries of RBI. Uh, please leave some space for writing all that initiatives. Okay. Subsidiaries of RBI. What do you mean by subsidiary? When we say something as a subsidiary, means it is owned by the RBI. So we have covered about RBI. Now we are very briefly going to touch upon some of the organizations which are owned by RBI. So right, the subsidiaries of RBI are the entities. The subsidiaries of RBI are the entities which are 100% owned by RBI, which are 100% owned by RBI. First one under this is DICGC. I hope you are able to recall that. ये already हमने cover किया है. Under that, write the bullet point. First bullet point. Statutory body under DICGC Act 1961. Statutory body under DICGC Act 1961. Second, headed by Deputy Governor of RBI. Headed by Deputy Governor of RBI. Okay, so far, whatever committees we have covered, now, all of those committees were headed by RBI Governor. This is special case where DICGC is headed by Deputy Governor of RBI. So we discussed that there are 4 Deputy Governors of RBI. One person will head this DICGC. Next one. Bharatiya Reserve Bank. Bharatiya Reserve Bank. Note Mudran. Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. Under that, write the first bullet point. Involved in printing of notes. Involved in printing of notes. So this is an subsidiary of RBI which is actually printing notes. Okay. Next one. Next organization, next subsidiary. Reserve Bank. Reserve Bank. Okay, just take out the word Reserve Bank. Information Technology, IFTAS. Information Technology. Information Technology Allied Services. Right? IFTA, Indian Information Technology Allied Services. Indian Information Technology Allied Services. In the bracket, write this as IFTAS. And please mark that as important. In fact, this is the most important subsidiary of RBI, Indian Financial Technology Allied Services. Have you has anyone heard of this platform? Swift platform. What it is? It is a Swift platform is basically it is a messaging system. It is a messaging system which facilitates international transfer of money from one country to another. Why is this in news? Is because Russia-Ukraine war, when it started, the Western countries decided to exclude Russian banks from the SWIFT platform. So think of it. If Russia is exporting oil, for example, to India, earlier India was making a dollar payment to Russia. That payment was through which platform? SWIFT platform. Now Russian banks have been excluded from the SWIFT platform, which means now it is difficult for us to make payment through Russia. Getting this point? Similar to SWIFT platform, which is at a global level, in India, we have our own platform called as SFMS, Structured Financial Messaging System. It is like SWIFT, except the fact that SWIFT is used for international transfer. SFMS is used for domestic transfer. Domestically, if you want to transfer money from one bank to another, which system do you use? You will use RTGS or you'll use NEFT. This is a payment system. ये क्या है? Payment system है. But messaging system, that message has to be transferred na, from one bank to another bank. Ki transfer this much amount of money. That message is transferred through SFMS. So it's a secured messaging platform. So you can consider this like a WhatsApp for the banks. ऐसे समझ लो. समझ में आया? So this platform is built by this organization, that is Indian Financial Technology Allied Services. So please write number 1, SFMS, Structured Financial Messaging System. Structured Financial Messaging System. You can put a hyphen and write messaging system for RTGS and NEFT. Messaging system for RTGS and NEFT. Next, under this only, under this, Infinet. After this, right, Infinet. Put a hyphen and write communication backbone for banks in India. Communication backbone for India. Communication backbone for India, which facilitates flow of information between the banks. Flow of information between the banks. Flow of information between the banks. Next one, Indian Banking Community Cloud. Third, under this only, Indian Banking Community Cloud. Indian Banking Community Cloud. Put a hyphen and write provide cloud-based services to banks. Provide cloud-based services to banks. Next, under this only, global interchange for financial transaction. Fourth one under this, global interchange for financial transaction. Global interchange for financial transaction. In the bracket write gift. You can put a hyphen and write similar to Swift. Similar to Swift. So you can see this IFTAs na. It has 4 big initiatives. Can you see all those initiatives now? है ना? कोई confusion है? There's one initiative called as SFMS, then Banking Community Cloud, then there is Infinet and Gift. Next subsidiary. Next subsidiary. How many subsidiaries are taken? 3 na? Fourth one, right? नहीं गिफ्ट सिटीज अलग है. Fourth subsidiary, Reserve Bank Information Technology Private Limited. Reserve Bank Information Technology Private Limited. Reserve Bank Information Technology Private Limited. Put hyphen and write. Takes care of IT requirements of RBI. Takes care of the IT requirements of RBI. Last subsidiary, Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. Focuses on financial innovations. Focuses on financial innovations within RBI. Within RBI. Okay. Is that clear, everyone? Chalo. So before we move on to the next chapter, let us see to what extent you'll be able to solve all the PYQs asked in the last 10 years on the chapter of RBI. Let's look into PYQs. Okay. If you know the answer, just hold on. I'll specifically ask. Anil, will start with you. RBI acts as bankers bank. This would imply which of the following? 1 and 3 only? Varun? So Varun says, Anil, why is the second statement wrong? Huh. But lender of last resort is also a role of RBI as a banker's bank, na? Just check your notes. I think I told you very clearly. Banker's bank, role of RBI as a banker to bank also include RBI acting as a lender of last resort. So answer in this case is all the 3. Okay. Let me see how many will be able to answer this question. Soumya, दिखाई दे रहा है? Answer this. The RBI regulates the commercial banks in matters of. In what all matters will the RBI regulate the commercial banks? Will RBI regulate the in terms of branch expansion? हाँ उसीलिए बोलता हूँ करंट अफेयर्स क्लास अटेंड करना चाहिए. हाँ, what is that? Branch expansion, does it regulate? What is that, Bharat? What aspect of RBI regulates the branch expansion? Is there any rule of RBI? हाँ, तो we covered in the current affairs class that minimum 25 percentage of the branches should be in the unbanked areas. So RBI will regulate the banks in terms of branch expansion. ठीक है? What about liquidity of assets? Okay, liquidity of assets. I'm not going into this in detail because it's a part of banking. Understand, when banks accept deposits in India, na, some percentage of deposits they have to keep with themselves, which is called as SLR. Some percentage of deposits they have to keep with the RBI, which we call it as CRR. So is RBI regulating them in terms of liquidity of assets, branch expansion? If RBI's approval is needed for opening, RBI's approval should also be needed for closure of banks also, which is winding up of banks. Merger of banks also it is needed. So right answer क्या होगा? All the four. ठीक है? Everyone. Parth. In India, the central bank's function as a lender of last resort usually refers to which of the following? Two and three? Only? Yeah, two only. Right? Vaishali? Role of RBI as a debt manager. Two and three. RBI manages and services Government of India securities. It services Government of India securities, but it also services state government securities also, which are called as state development loans. So first one is wrong. Second and third both are right. ठीक है? Swarnim, this question 2021 वाला question. Hmm? Three. Ashu? Three. Hemant? One and retail investors. Swarnim, why do you think the first one is wrong? Huh. Before that, before the retail ad scheme came into being, before that, how? हाँ, यहाँ पे क्या है statement? So why it's wrong? है ना? Right? Second statement. Second statement is also right, na? We covered. Ashu? ठीक है. Answer is one and two. Okay. Huh? Statement. Huh. It is actually it's not BSC, it's NSC. It's NSC, but we'll cover NSDL, CDSL in detail in the capital market. Next. Rishabh, acha, you're attending class for the first time? Sure. This one. The basic aim of Leeds bank scheme is that individual banks should adopt particular district for intensive development. In India, which of the following is responsible for maintaining price stability by controlling inflation? RBI. Service area approach was implemented under lead bank scheme. Prelims 2021. Hmm. Anil? All three. Varun? 1 and 3. Second one is wrong. Why it is wrong? Second one is wrong because it is not mentioned in the Constitution. It is mentioned in the RB Act. Which act? Which section? Section 7. Yeah. Vishali, which one of the following statement correctly describes the meaning of legal tender money? Legal tender. The money which a creditor is under compulsion to accept in settlement of his claims. Okay. This is a question on inflation index bond. It is one of the initiative of RBI, but I am not taken up in this topic. I will be discussing this in the chapter of capital market, where we will be covering all the types of bonds. So don't worry about it. Okay. Prelims 2019, there was a question on data localization. This was a current affairs based question because data localization was in news in the year 2019. Any guesses? What do you mean by data localization? Guess what it is. Good. Data localization. Let's understand what this means. You know, there are a number of payment system operators in India. Like you have PhonePe, you have GPay. Who owns PhonePe? Who is the majority owner of PhonePe? Any idea? कभी सोचा है who owns PhonePe? No, it's not owned by the government. It's not. It's not. Anyone? हाँ तो who is the majority owner? Anyone? Surprising. हाँ but who? Okay. You'll be surprised to know PhonePe is majorly owned by Walmart. And if you don't know what is Walmart, Walmart is a company which has the majority stakes in Flipkart. Did you get the point? It is owned by Walmart. ठीक है? So, PhonePe, GPay, they are basically foreign companies indirectly that way. Earlier, what they used to do, see, whenever we make UPI payments using PhonePe or GPay, these companies are keeping a track of our spending patterns. It is keeping a track of how much money we are spending, where we are spending. This is very sensitive information actually which these companies are having. Earlier, that sensitive information, they used to take it out of India. Data, our data, they used to take it out of India, and that data they used to store it in the servers outside India, which we think is against our sovereign interest, because we think that our data is ours and it should be stored in India only. So in the year 2019, RBI came up with a norm. Under this, RBI has said that entire data relating to payment systems, it should be stored in a system only in India. It means it should be stored only in the servers based in India. It cannot be taken out of India. This is what is data localization. So it has nothing to do with C, that it should be owned by public sector enterprise, or it should be nothing related to submitting the data to CAG. So the right answer यहाँ पे क्या हो गया? 1 only. समझ में आया सबको? Okay, this is about CBDC. This will be covering later. Do not worry. Even that is about CBDC. Do not worry. We'll be covering that because I have decided to take up this one in the monetary policy. But look at this question asked this year, prelims 2025. Okay, if you're not been able to see this properly, I'll show you. Hmm. Yeah, prelims 2025. Which of the following are the sources of income for the RBI? Take your time. Surname? 1 and 2. Bharat? 1 and 2. Soumya? 1 and 2. Hemant? 1, 2, 5. भरत, आपको क्यों लगता है कि फर्स्ट फिफ्थ वाला रॉन्ग है? व्हाट डू थिंक इट इज? व्हाई डू थिंक ही सेज प्रिंटिंग नोट से सिनोरे जाता है ना आरबीआई को? प्रिंटिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिंग इज सिनोरेज ना, ऑब्वियसली. Surname? I think Hemant is saying logical ना. सौम्य? हाँ, assets and liabilities are matching, but RBI is earning income from printing notes or not? We covered that, na? What is it called as? It is called as seigniorage. Is that clear? Okay. This time the same confusion was there among multiple students. Some people mark this as 1 and 2 only. But if you ask me, the answer should be 1, 2 and 5. Because RBI does earn income. In fact, it is a major source of income for the RBI, ना? सबसे बड़ा income क्या है? By printing notes only. But let's wait and see what answer की UPSC gives. Because I have a very bad experience with UPSC answer keys in the past. Hmm. Question? हाँ हाँ हाँ. I think UPSC would go with D only. But for strange reason, if it does not go with D, if it goes with B, can't help. कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं. But I hope you understood the logic which I told you, है ना? चलो. So we are done with the topic of RBI. We are done with chapter of RBI. Now we are going to move to the next chapter, right? The next chapter, monetary policy. Monetary policy. Okay. You can just pay attention with respect to monetary policy. You can see in the last 11 years, you had almost 25 questions from the chapter of monetary policy, which means on an average, you could say around two questions every year from monetary policy. But in this year prelims, not a single question. And that has happened for probably first time in the last 7 to 8 years. इससे पहले it was in 2018 that not a single question was asked, and after 7 years for the first time, not a single question. But you could see this peak in 2021. Almost 3 questions were asked. So I cannot actually give you guarantee as to what questions can be asked in 2026. But I am very sure it is not going to be zero once again, because this is a very important chapter. I would say probably 1 to 3. This is the number of questions that you can get in the next year prelims 2026. If you just know how many questions I've asked, that alone is not important. You should also know from where the questions are asked. Can you see? Questions are asked, number one, directly from monetary policy tools. Like there are a number of monetary policy tools like repo, reverse repo, CRR, SLR. So from directly those things. Second, application based questions. Like if RBI increases or decreases CRR, SLR, what will happen to money supply? That application based question. Questions linking monetary policy to external sector. Like if RBI increases or decreases the policy rate, how it will affect the value of rupee, whether the value of rupee will appreciate or depreciate. This is a chapter which is linked to other chapter of external sector. Questions related to money supply, like whether money supply will increase or decrease. So that is how questions are generally asked. Now, before I show you different questions, let me first dictate to you what exactly is monetary policy. ठीक है? So सबसे पहले these are the topics that I'm going to cover. So please write down list of topics. List of topics. Inflation slash recession. Inflation slash recession. Put a hyphen and write meaning, cause, effects, and steps needed. Meaning, cause, effects, and steps needed. Next, monetary policy basics, MPC, monetary policy, MPC, and inflation targeting. Inflation targeting. Next, monetary policy tools. Monetary policy tools, quantitative and qualitative. Okay, please do not write this thing, just write this main headings. After writing monetary policy tool, write yield rate management. Yield rate management. Next, unconventional monetary policies. Unconventional monetary policies. Liquidity trap. Liquidity trap. Monetary policy transmission. Liquidity trap, monetary policy transmission. Concepts related to money. Concepts related to money. Next is measurement of money. Measurement of money. And CBDC. CBDC. Central Bank Digital Currency. Okay, so these are the list of topics. So what I will do, I will start with the most simplest, the most basic thing. Before actually discussing what is monetary policy, the basics, we'll start with the what is inflation and what is recession. So make a heading now. Inflation. Make a heading. Inflation. Put a hyphen and write meaning. Inflation. Meaning. Cause. Effect. Meaning, cause, effect, steps needed. Okay. Please pay attention and dictate all of these things. सबसे पहले let's understand what do you mean by inflation. When I say inflation, I hope everyone knows the meaning of inflation. Inflation is increase in prices. That is what is inflation. But that is a layman's understanding of inflation. Economically, when I say inflation, economically, inflation means a general and persistent increase in prices of goods and services. Look at the first word. The first word is general. So when we say something is general, means prices of almost all the goods, all the services should increase. Only then we will call it as inflation. In India, typically you must have seen that prices of almost all the goods might remain almost same, but prices of just one or two goods may increase. That is not inflation actually. Inflation is when prices of all the goods increase. Now take for example, generally this is what happens in India. Let's say tomato prices increase drastically. Let's say tomato prices have increased to 200 rupees per kg. But it is only the price of tomato which has increased. Prices of all other goods may have remained same. In fact, prices of some goods may have reduced also. It is not inflation. Inflation is when prices of all the goods increase. समझ में आया? Next part. This is what? Persistent. If one day, if they increase and next day if they drop, that is not inflation. They should continue to increase. Only then it is inflation. I hope you understood. Okay. That is the meaning of inflation. General and persistent increase in price. So please write meaning. Meaning, put hyphen and write. A general and persistent increase in prices of goods and services. A general and persistent increase in prices of goods and services is referred to as inflation. Is referred to as inflation. Next one, causes. Yes. Can you tell me why do price of goods and services increase? किस लिए बढ़ता है? Increase in money supply. लोगों के पास ज़्यादा पैसा है. One is basically if the demand increases, then that is what I wanted to tell you. Very good. Inflation is caused because of two independent reasons. Look at the word which I'm saying, independent. These two independent reasons are when the demand for goods and services increase. When people are demanding something of more, but supply has remained constant. That is lead to inflation. Or it may so happen that demand may have remained same. Demand same hai. But what has happened to supply? Supply has reduced. Even then we call it as inflation. For example, you should see demand and supply in this particular case as two independent factors. When I say independent factors means you should think like this. Demand is not based upon supply. Supply is not based upon what? Demand. For example, think like this. During summer, people will demand for more air conditioners, AC. Can I say people's demand for air conditioners is because it's very humid outside, because it's very hot outside? People are not demanding more ACs because supply of ACs is less. It has nothing to do with that. People are demanding ACs which has nothing to do with supply. I understood? Same way, no, just last year we had this Kumbh Mela. कुंभ मेले के टाइम पे क्या किसका प्राइस बढ़ गया था बहुत ज्यादा? I would say the air travel, airfare had drastically increased because everyone wanted to go to Kumbh Mela. What demand has increased is the demand for air travel has increased because people wanted to go to Kumbh Mela. ऐसा नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि supply of airfare or supply of aeroplane was less. Supply of aeroplane was same only, but what actually happened to demand? Demand increased. So you should always see demand and supply as two independent factors. So usually in UPSC they'll ask you questions like this: which among the following can lead to increase in demand and cause inflation, or which among the following can lead to fall in supply and cause inflation? Demand and supply you should always see as two independent factors. So just pay attention यहाँ पे. I'll just explain it to you through an example. Let's discuss about an example. Let's say in 2025, the demand for Apple was, let's say, 100 apples. Let's say supply of apples, for example, was also 100 apples. And let's say the price of one apple was equal to rupees 10. It may so happen that in 2026, next year, the demand for apple may increase to 200. Why has demand increased? यहाँ पे ये नहीं बोलना है कि demand has increased because supply has dropped. Supply has not dropped. Let's say supply has still remained as what? 100 apples. Why has demand increased? Because probably, let's say, people want to eat more apples. If demand increased the next year, what will happen to prices? Last year it was 10, now it will become 20. There could be another reason also. Let's say in 2026, the demand for apple could remain 100 only, but the supply of apple may reduce to 50. Let's say suddenly there was untimely rain. Because of that, some apples got lost. So 50 apples. Even in that case, what will happen to prices? Prices will double. समझ में आया सबको? So when we say this one, na, this inflation, we call it as, look at the word, क्या बोलते हैं इसे? Demand pull inflation. Increase in demand is pulling up the prices. Demand pull. This side, we will call it as supply side inflation, or we will call this as cost push inflation. Why it is called as cost push inflation, you'll get to know that. समझ में आया सबको? I would want everyone, I'm giving you 1 minute. Please give me some instances of examples of demand pull inflation. 1 minute. I want example from each one of you. Demand pull inflation, where you have to give me an example ki sir demand bada hai and because of that prices of this thing has increased in India. Any example that you have seen around you, कोई भी example हो सकता है. And obviously वो वाला example जो मैंने दिया है वो फिर से मत देना, ठीक है? You have to think some out of box also. Let's not start with Anil this time, otherwise you not talk to me. Hemant will start with you. हाँ सोचने के लिए चाहिए, चलो ठीक है. One, yes, tell me. कोविड के टाइम पे किसका डिमांड बढ़ गया था आप बताइए. Yes, I think the most important thing during COVID, people were demanding for more mask, N95 mask. People were demanding for more sanitizer. So यहाँ पे ये नहीं सोचना है कि कोविड के टाइम पे इसका शॉर्टेज था. इसका शॉर्टेज, it was not about shortage, ना. It was more about increase in demand. Good, Vaishali. So example which I can say, which Vaishali is given, is increase in demand for mask and sanitizer during COVID. Next, surname. Huh, huh. We could also say that what has happened in India is people's per capita income has increased. Because people's per capita income has increased, people are now wanting to buy more of four-wheelers. So demand for four-wheelers has increased. So prices of four-wheeler has also increased. Good. ठीक है? Bharat? I think he is giving a very lively example which he has encountered. तत्काल वाला ticket देखा होगा ना? So if you want to book ticket during Tatkal, there are limited number of seats. Supply is less, but the demand for the people to book Tatkal tickets is very high. So Tatkal booking, usually the ticket prices will be high. So good. So you could say Tatkal booking for train. Good. Mm-hmm. You can say that. Okay, then good. Like, you could say that. What is that doll called as? I don't know that. क्या कैसे स्पेल करते हैं उसे? Demand for labubu, labubu, labubu dolls. You could say that. Very good example. देखो. हाँ, these days, there's a lot of demand for cryptos. People are demanding a lot for cryptos like Bitcoin and so on. So because of that, the Bitcoin prices have increased. So you could also say that increase in demand for Bitcoins has led to increase in price. So that is demand or supply? That will come supply, na? So we'll come to that. Okay, I'll also say one example. Now we have festival season coming. ये देखो, अभी तक तो बोली नहीं, अभी मैं बोलने जा रहा हूँ तो मेरा एग्जाम्पल ले रही हो आप. हाँ, कौन सा एग्जाम्पल है? Diwali time, exactly. So during festival season, you will normally see that people's demand for different goods, services will increase. Huh? I think that's the best example. Have you heard of Akshay Tritiya? You try to buy gold on Akshay Tritiya. The gold price would have increased drastically. So you could say that demand for gold during festival season like Akshay Tritiya in India, right? Apart from that, uh, if you see in Delhi, right, during winter, now the winter is set to come. During winter, there is something whose demand will drastically increase in Delhi. What is it? ठीक है, and I think in Delhi, one is, yeah, the air quality will fall in Delhi. So the demand for air purifiers will increase. Room heaters will increase. So if you are smart enough, अभी खरीद लो. Because if you are trying to buy room heater during winter, its price would have got increase. So now, especially during summer when no one is buying a room heater, if you purchase room heater, the price of the room heater will be less, discounted price. I hope you understood the demand part. Okay. Let's look at this side, supply. Okay. यहाँ पे, with respect to supply, there are two things. I wrote supply side inflation and what cost push inflation. When I'm saying cost push inflation, it basically means that there is decrease in the supply of raw material. The supply of raw material has reduced, so uske liye the cost of the finished product may increase. Example being, Russia is involved in war. What will happen to international crude oil prices? International crude oil prices will increase. Crude oil is being used for processing petrol and diesel. So what will happen to cost of petrol? Cost of petrol will increase. What kind of inflation it is? Cost push inflation. Where increase in cost of raw material is leading to increase in the cost of finished products. Any other example that you can think? I think that's another example. Recently, what China has done, China has decided to ban the export of rare earth magnets. Rare earth magnets are very important for manufacturing of electric batteries. So because China has banned the export of rare earth magnets, the cost of manufacturing electric vehicles in India has increased. So this is what kind of inflation? Cost push inflation. Good. During COVID, there was shortage of some commodities. Can you give me an example which commodity was in huge shortage? Yes. Oxygen cylinders was in huge shortage. Good. Then, but can I also consider this as demand also? That can be demand also, no? I can say demands are also. Okay, we'll come to that. ये थोड़ा confusing है. I'll tell you what it is. Demand pull or cost push. Okay. During COVID, what actually happened? China started following what is called as zero COVID policy. As part of zero COVID policy, whenever even one outbreak of COVID case, if China found, China imposed a complete lockdown. So all the industries in China closed. China also provides for semiconductors. So what happened? There was a huge shortage of semiconductors. And you must understand, semiconductor is an essential raw material which is now used in all the modern day gadgets, including cars. So the cost of mobile phone, cost of tablets, cost of cars, all of that increased because of this. समझ में आया? But can I also say like this, that during COVID, people started working from home. Because people started working from home, people started demanding for more laptops. Demand for laptops क्या हुआ? बढ़ गया. So can I say that both the two factors are coming to play for increase in the price of laptop? So how should we consider this as? Demand pull or cost push? There are certain instances where it might happen that price of a commodity may increase where demand is increasing, supply is also reducing. Both the two things are come into play, which may lead to increase in the price. जैसे कि टोमेटो है, for example, let's say during some festival season, the demand for tomato may increase, and during the same time, the supply of tomato may reduce. What we'll consider this as demand pull or cost push. In that case, we will say between demand and pull, demand and supply, which one is a dominant factor. For example, if demand has increased by 10% and supply has reduced by 5%, which is the dominant factor? Demand is the dominant factor. But if supply has reduced by 10%, demand has increased by 5%, which is the dominant factor? Supplies. समझ में आया? Okay. So it's already time 8:10. So whatever I covered in the last part of the class about causes of inflation, I will dictate in the next class, and we'll go into depth also about the causes. Okay? That will cover in tomorrow's class. You can say that also. Sunflower oil. Thank you so much. And if anyone has any doubt, you can come and ask me.